7.7 is the last section for this unit. We're still working with distance, rate, and time formula, but this time we're going to compare things. Okay, now all of the examples are word problems. You do not have to write the word problems down, but you still do have to show the work. So let's look at it. Example 1. Okay. A plane flew at 200 miles per hour for 2 hours, and then at 120 miles per hour for 3 hours. How far did the plane fly? Okay, before we start, at the top of my notes, what is the distance, rate, and time formula? D equals R times T. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, please write that at the top of your paper so that we can refer back to it.
Dirt?
Yeah, it kind of looks like dirt.
I know dirt.
Okay. Alright. So this problem is a little trickier because we're actually given two pieces of information. For the first part of his trip, the plane flew 200 miles per hour. Is that distance, rate, or time?
Rate.
That's a rate. For 2 hours, distance, rate, or time? Time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to split my work into two sections. Okay. And we're going to find two different distances here. So this is going to be called D1 equals, what was his first rate? 200 miles per hour times 2 hours. Okay. So the first part of the trip, what was the distance? 400 what? Miles. So the first part of the trip, they traveled 400 miles. Okay. Now we're given information for the second part of the trip. For the second part, the plane flew 120 miles per hour. So we're going to call that D2. Yes. Equals 120 miles per hour. Times what? Times 3 hours. Okay, so what was the distance for the second part of their trip? 360 miles. Now we're being asked, how far did the plane fly? So what do you think I need to do there? Add them together. So we see distance total equals 400 plus 360. So the total distance was 760 miles.
Wait, where did you get the 400 at?
The first distance. Example 2. Parker walked 2 miles per hour for 2 hours, and then at 4 miles per hour for 2 hours. How far did Parker walk? Okay. Okay, guys. Alright, so this is similar to the previous problem. We have two pieces of information. Parker walked 2 miles per hour for 2 hours. 2 miles per hour is your rate. 2 hours is your time. So we need to find the first distance of his trip. So distance 1 is going to equal
2 times 2 times 2.
So distance 1 is going to be 2 miles per hour times 2 hours. Okay, which means that his first distance was 4 miles. Okay. Second part of the trip, he walked at 4 miles per hour for 2 hours. So D2 equals 4 miles per hour times 2 hours, which gives me D2 equals 8 miles. So what's his total?
12 miles. It's going to write the wrong color.
Okay. The new hybrid car gets an average of 54 miles per gallon of gas. The company plans to test drive the car for 68 miles today and 418 miles tomorrow. How many gallons of gas can the car company expect to use in all? This is like our old problems. The first thing we want to do is set up a proportion. Okay. What is my rate of miles per gallon? So 54 miles over 1 gallon. Okay. And now how many miles am I driving? 68 today plus 418 tomorrow. And I'm looking for how much gas, so that's my S. So then what can I do? Add. So this is going to be 54 miles over 1 gallon equals, what is 68 plus 41? Okay. Now I can cross multiply. So 54x equals 486. Divide both sides by 54. And x equals 9 gallons.
Wait, only just 9 gallons?
According to this. One, example 4. Jane walked 12 miles from her school to the bakery at an average speed of 3 miles per hour. On the way from the bakery back to school, it took her 6 hours. Find the rate she was walking on her way back to school. Okay, we have a lot of information here, and only some of it we need. We need to find her rate. So that means we don't know what her rate is, but we should know what the distance and her time was going from the bakery to school. Can anybody pick out what the distance is?
12 miles.
12 miles. Distance does not change whether you're going or coming, right? If I drive from here to my house, it's the same distance as driving from my house to here, right? Unless I took a different route. But in theory, it's still the same distance, right? So we're going to use 12 miles as our distance equals. We know that we don't know her rate, so I'm just going to put it as R right now. And how much time did it take her to go from the bakery back home? 6 hours. I know, right? Okay, so what do I need to do to solve for R? Divide by 6. So R equals to what? 2 miles per hour. So her rate going from the bakery back to school was 2 miles per hour. Now, how does her rate on the way going back to school compare to her rate going to the bakery? So from going back to school, she went 2 miles per hour. From school to the bakery, she went 3 miles per hour. right here. So going back to school, was she walking faster or slower?
Lower.
Slower. By how much?
1 mile per hour.
1 mile per hour. So she walked. She walked slower by 1 mile per hour.